Dale Allen, Naked Soul Sisterhood. Today we're going to talk about relationships and how we can create more connection.
Connection.
We do this by becoming aware of the unconscious agenda we bring to our relationships. It's called Imago, and it was developed by Harville Hendricks and his wife Helen LaKelly Hunt. Our guest, Imago Therapist Janice Leiper. We started by asking, what is Imago?
Imago in Latin means image. And the notion is that in our unconscious, being the key word, there is an image of our caretakers who raised us and all the good and the bad characteristics of them rolled into one. And whoever most matches that picture is who we are drawn to. The idea being that what we didn't get from our caretakers in the first place, because nobody has perfect parenting, nor should we strive to be necessarily perfect, but then we will get it from our partner, who most matches that picture once each of us becomes conscious of what we need and what our partner needs. Then we can clearly give that to each other.
So it's about being conscious.
Absolutely, because most people out here are walking around in unconscious relationships. And the goal of this therapy is to become conscious of what you need and what I need, what's hurtful and what isn't, and then doing with intention the things we need to do to help each other, because we get hurt in relationships and we heal in relationships.
So an imago is like an amalgam. It's this image inside of your unconscious mind of the characteristics of everybody that was there, all of the caregivers that were there, not just mom and dad, but whoever played an important role in your childhood. Mm-hmm. And if you're unconscious of it, it's operating and making choices for you. And if you're conscious of it, then you are making choices with awareness, probably to a better outcome.
Right. And that's why Imago therapy is helpful, whether you're an individual, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're engaged. It is very helpful because you will bring this unconscious material and you'll know exactly what you're looking for. This is exactly what I need in a relationship, and this is what would be toxic. And it is profoundly helpful to people to have that information up front before they actually start looking for a mate.
So how do we make those parts conscious? We get in a relationship and it brings everything up.
Well, it doesn't bring it up right away because for, the first at least up to 24 months, we're what we call into a romantic phase of love. And then, usually 3 to 7 years later, at least, we get into the power struggle. And the very thing I told you I loved about this person, I'm now complaining about it.
Imago sees the power struggle as a bridge to healing, not a reason for leaving, in order to become whole, healed people.
What tools does Imago use?
Well, there's several tools, but one of the tools is something we call the Imago profile, where we fill out these 5 sheets that tell you about recalling from childhood, not how you see it now, but what were the hurtful and the painful events that happened, and what were the characteristics, good and bad, of your caretakers. And the really important question is that I love is when you say, if you could redo childhood all over again, what is it that you would most want from your mother, from your father? Because that's so key. If you even ask yourself that now and you think about it, because those are things that you definitely still want. And it doesn't mean that there's always bad things that happen, in your childhood. Somebody might say, well, these were the good things. And of course, I'm still longing for those. And when I'm not getting them now, I'm pretty upset. So it's not always about negativity. And the other is when we talk about what are the frustrations in real time in the session, what is it that triggers you getting defensive that your partner does? And then exploring that and looking at why is that so hurtful? What am I afraid of if that continues? And what would I long for instead?
Janice, if somebody asks you, am I in the right relationship? What do you say? What's the answer?
Well, if you're conscious, you just know. There's a gut sense and you just feel it. And you know because you're conscious of what you need and you see it clearly coming your way. But most of us are out here in unconscious states where we're not real clear about that. So if you're not, just ask some simple questions. Does this person have your back? Do you feel safe with this person? Are they present with you? Do you feel connected with this person? You know, do they care about your needs and your well-being as well as theirs? Is there room for you in this relationship? Because there has to be.
So with a sense of being in the right relationship, a fruitful relationship, conflict's probably part of it all anyway, yes?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's the second phase after the romantic phase, and it's all very natural. We all go through it. And there's always rupture, what we call rupture and repair that has to happen. But most people don't know how to make the repair. So we get in conflict, we get in a fight, we get in this circular sort of argument, and we don't know how to get out of it. And that's where coming in to get some help and just getting some tools so that you can leave and take it with you is helpful.
What about a situation where we wouldn't call it conflict, but something that's more amplified, abuse?
Where there's abuse, you know, I always say that that is just a part of somebody that is highly, highly defended. But first of all, you need to protect yourself. So I would always tell women that if you're in an abusive relationship, you have to get out of that while a person gets themselves some help. So if there's any physical violence, we're not talking through that until that person learns how to regulate their emotions. So you need to be safe, is what I'm saying. That's always the first step.
Even whether it was physical abuse or even a kind of a mental manipulative abuse, same thing?
Well, not necessarily. It depends, again, always on degrees. It's always a degree, because we all in our own little way, whether you're passive aggressive, that's a manipulative type of tactic, and so we'll do that. You know, it's like there are parts of all of us that pop up when we feel as though we're going to be attacked. It's that reptilian part of our brain that's always looking, is it safe with you or will I be eaten? And so if I'm feeling that I'm going to be eaten, my dinosaur comes up and I'm defensive, and that could look manipulative. So we can get past that. That's not what I'm talking about, physical violence.
Are there a handful of themes that show up in relationships, like abandonment or rejection? I mean, there's not hundreds of them.
Well, I think there's some core ones, but you know, if you boil it all down, it's really about connection. You know, are we securely attached to each other? Are you there for me? And do you love me? And I need to see that in your body language. I need to see that in the eye of the beloved, if you will. And the other thing about connection is knowing, how does your partner like to be connected to? What is it that counts to them? It's like giving the gift that you would like, your partner would like to receive, not the one that you want to give. So, you know, it's learning the language, the love language of the other person is also key.
So connection and understanding how each person wants to be connected, that really feels like the core of your work.
It is, and it's wonderful. That's why I love this work. When people got together for a reason and they love those very things about the person, and then life happens, we get into power struggle, but people can get out of this. 3 to 6 months, I've seen people after 50 years of marriage pull it together once the negativity stops. They see each other again because they stopped long enough to see you aren't the enemy. And I still have this for you.
Beautiful.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We've learned a lot about relationships.
I actually want to talk more and more.
Yes, so do I.